In order to understand the criticality of digital transformation in the business and how supply chain is one of the main behind-the-scene drivers of a customer decision-making, Rami Fares and myself spoke to Mr. Arvind Agrawal. Arvind Agrawal is the CEO of Jumbo Group, which is a diversified business group headquartered in the UAE with over 20 subsidiaries. As the head of Jumbo Group, Arvind is responsible for running all the facets of the business in various countries that the group operates in. The group is mainly involved in distribution, omnichannel retail, enterprise ITC solutions, logistics, services, facilities management, and manpower management services. Rami Fares is a director for retail, travel, and transportation industry at Microsoft Middle East and Africa.
Arvind, it's a pleasure to have you. We would like to talk to you today about your experience through the pandemic. You as a conglomerate managing retail at large and managing different line of business. How did you see the retail coming through the pandemic? How did you see the economical situation impacting your retail business? And how did Jumbo navigate the retail transformation, especially that, as we know, you embarked on your own digital journey 2 years before? It's great to talk to us about how did you guys manage to increase your online sales? How did you manage to deliver one of the first retailer curbside shopping in the UAE? How did you manage to reduce your time to deliver items to your customers? I believe it went below the 4 hours from click to order. So I would love the audience to get to learn more about your retail transformation and how the pandemic has acted as a catalyst throughout the journey.
Thank you, Rami, for having me. I'm pleased to be with you guys today. So this pandemic was quite disruptive. But what I told our shareholders as well as employees is that we are in the Middle East. So we are used to disruptions. But this particular disruption was very serious in a couple of ways. One was that safety of our employees was at stake, which we've never had before. Second was the safety of our customers was also at stake. So our first priority when this happened was to get together as a team and employ processes and practices to first secure employees and our customers. Even though there was a lockdown, we did have touch points with the customers. We had our last mile delivery, working with the customers, online orders. We had our customer services, handling defective appliances and things like that at home. We had our Jumbo Unwired services for smart homes, for networking problems in smart homes. And most importantly, for emergency services of the government, we had to send our engineers to make sure the government infrastructure was running. So the first thing was safety. Coming to the second part, and this is where we had a numerous series of discussions with our board as well as our key team members. And quite frankly, one of the good things about this was that we had just implemented Microsoft Teams in our company 2 months ago, and we were used to working with Teams. So being physically together or not physically together was no longer relevant. In fact, I quite frankly find working with Teams a lot easier than working in a physical way, because we can share a document, we can edit a document together, we can exchange documents, there's a history available, we can record the meeting, there's no need to take points, etc., etc. So that was very useful. But then we as a team took a decision that we wouldn't waste this crisis, okay? And we'll find opportunities in this stressful environment, and we did that. And that is what brought us out as a winner. And we not only rode through the rough April to June quarter in a very positive manner, but we also are currently delivering higher numbers than last year in this quarter.
This is really inspiring. Actually, your story speaks to a lot what we have seen across the retail transformation. It speaks about how digital capabilities have helped you to adjust to the new norm. I believe you are an exemplary case when it comes to navigating the norm and come out of it even stronger by inserting digital capabilities where it makes sense. So today, we don't want to omit the opportunity to speak about how you have as well used the digital capabilities across the different line of business. Can you speak to us about your diversified portfolio in terms of enterprise services, logistics, jumbo unwired, and how this all came stronger in the context of the pandemic, and what is the market opportunity that you have seen that you were able to capitalize on throughout the journey?
Good question. So when you have a diversified business, there are advantages and there are disadvantages. For today, I'll focus on advantages. If I started with the disadvantages, it'll take a long time. So the good thing about a diversified business is that something is always up, right? So, for example, in March, when the lockdown started, practically all the stores were shut down. Retail was shut down. Even travel between Emirates was shut down. So even e-commerce deliveries was a challenge. You couldn't leave, so retail was practically out. But at the same time, our enterprise business took off because the government and the large private sector needed to order IT infrastructure and IT devices for working from home. So we had a massive growth in the first quarter for IT infrastructure and IT devices sales. So that's the balance between retail and enterprise at that time. Distribution naturally was largely impacted in the first month, but one part of distribution took off. We are also a distributor, one of the large distributors of Dyson as a brand. And Dyson has air purifiers. And air purifier sales went through the roof. And so much so that we had to order huge quantities of air purifiers. Similarly, Dyson also has these very handy vacuum cleaners. As you know, in Dubai, we have this culture of maids doing vacuuming in the homes, but during pandemic, people want to do themselves. And you'd rather have a handy, light, cordless vacuum cleaner. And that's how the Dyson sales went through the roof during that time. And then slowly, there was a shift. People started realizing that their homes did not have the bandwidth to work from home and also have entertainment. Because now you're doing nothing sitting at home. You have to watch more Netflix, more Amazon Prime, and so on and so forth. So you're consuming bandwidth. And people are on the phone, they're talking on Zoom, Teams, whatever. So people were running short of bandwidth. So our smart home services, which is called Jumbo and Wired, took off in a big way. And we had a huge sale of networking devices at home. That was the third phase. Then next phase was kids are still at home, getting bored. So moms need to keep them busy. So we had our musical instruments and small domestic appliances. They took off. So that was at the product side. Now, if we come at services side, our enterprise business, we came up with a series of initiatives targeted at each specific vertical. So let's say education, we had a brainstorming session among our team. And we said, what is the new normal in education? So the new normal in education is that kids are at home. They probably have a lecture remotely over a Zoom or some other platform. That needs to be archived. That needs to be retrieved by moms, teachers, and others. The way they conduct tests is going to be different. It puts a load on the network infrastructure. So the whole thing has changed. There are no fees being collected, so school has a cash flow problem. So, and we did the same for hospitality, which was equally impacted, SMB, which was equally impacted, retail, which was equally impacted. So we came up with a series of very customized services for the new normal of COVID-19 situation. And most important part of that was that we started an outsourcing service in partnership with a large financial organization, where we would buy out the complete IT infrastructure of this organization and offer it to them as infrastructure as a service basis, so they focus on their core business while we take care of their IT. So that's a program that we've launched for almost all the segments, and we are being very successful. Another element that we launched, which is in line with Dubai government's vision of being a paperless city, and His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum has already made many statements about this, is to move from the culture of printing to workflow. And we have number of pilots currently engaged with a large number of large corporates. These are not SMBs, government entities mostly, where we are converting paper-based processes with workflows, e-signature, which are verifiable and acceptable by legal laws of these countries, and integrated with their digital platforms, the order management systems or content management systems, and so on and so forth. So a number of things happened in enterprise, and that's going well. The biggest benefit of this crisis that we got was the customer was very open to digital transformation. The journey to digital transformation got such a massive fillip that in our transformation plan in enterprise, what we planned on year 3, we are achieving that in year 1 of our strategy. So we thought year 1 we'll just have a partnership for e-signature. Year 2 we'll have some POCs. Year 3 we'll have a funnel of 15 customers. We have funnel of 15 customers in 3 months. So that's how the enterprise business moved. The logistics business took a totally different turn. And that initially was affected naturally because the government had restrictions on movement, but later on it became very critical to our customers who rely on us for services, because they wanted more efficient and more cost-effective ways of delivering products from point A to point B. And we had just implemented a digital transformation platform with D365, which took care of last mile delivery with an AI-based tool. And that really optimized our cost of doing business in that area. Plus, managing the customer expectation, giving them a dashboard so that they can themselves monitor where their products are, what is their inventory with us, and so on and so forth. So that was the logistics side. 3D took a different turn. There was a need for shields for example, Department of Health required shields for healthcare workers. And we donated thousands of shields to them as a proof of concept, as a goodwill gesture, as part of our CSR initiative. But then later on, this became a norm for the police, immigration, and other people, and most of them were using these shields printed on our technology, which is a HP 3D technology. And finally, Jumbo Serve, which is our services organization, that was hit badly because of supply chain disruptions, mainly in the spare parts. So we took the time because, and the customers wouldn't come to the service centers. So we used that time to fine-tune our digital transformation. So we managed to use the service management part of D365 and optimize it and integrate it with our CRM system, which is also D365, in such a way that we were able to communicate with the customer at any point that, yes, we have your product for service, we don't have a spare. But if you want a separate standby unit, we can give you one. So there was no need for him to come, panic, call centers. We were able to communicate with him through SMSs, and he can click on a link and see where the status is and so on and so forth. We did have our share of problems. I'm not saying that. When you go through a digital transformation, initially you have problems. But we were able to transform our services organization much faster because customers, because of this disruption. So normally, if we had implemented digital transformation in a live environment, the problem would have prolonged for 3-4 months, but we had a disruption only for a month in our services because of it. So that was the advantage of having this crisis.
Thank you, Arvind. That was very comprehensive. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us in such a transparent and open way. I'm sure that lots of our audience today will leverage this for their own accelerated business transformation journey.
So yes, I'd really like to thank Team Microsoft for the way they are working. And I hope this will continue because this project is not yet over.
I believe today you have heard it from the horse's mouth. You have heard about how as an organization they have embraced artificial intelligence across the board to improve their on-time delivery, how they have embraced digital capabilities to ensure business continuity across their different line of business, how they have leveraged the power of the platform that they're currently using to verticalize offering for different sectors across the brand portfolio, which have helped them as well not only increase sales, but as well delight customers. I think the journey speaks to whoever embraced digital transformation came out of this pandemic even stronger. It is the time of disruption, and as Satya Nadella said it out loud, we have seen at this time of the pandemic over 2 months what we would have expected to happen in terms of transformation over 2 years. It was a pleasure having all of you today. I hope you find your part of the story that would be inspiring, that you can take back and replicate across your business. We look forward to continue the conversation with you through our social channels, and hopefully we can get to replicate this with your own business. Good day, everyone. It was a pleasure being with you.